Yeah. Yeah. So for anybody who's listening to this one, when you say Hive5, it's not a high five like you're smacking hands or something like that. Sorry about your levels there, man. What you're doing though is this is Hive and the number 5. So we came up with that number just because it's kind of like the 5th iteration of Hive. So how did this all start? It started out with graphene blockchains and Steem, right? So everybody remembers Steem and what happened to Steem and the takeover and the oligarchy and the corruption and all that kind of stuff. Well, Dan Notestein at Block Trades and the few other guys forked a 1-to-1 fork away from Steem, and that became Hive, right? Awesome. Well, then some things that needed to be improved, or a lot of people were like, they really hated the downvote button. Okay, and so then you had a few more blockchains get forked off of Hive. As far as I know, Whale Shares was the first one. You guys might remember Fuzzy, a good friend of mine. He's the guy who always did the Mumble calls with the BitShares community and stuff like that, and I was on his show a bunch of times. But Whale Shares, I think, was the first fork away from Hive. Then there was Golos. Many of you OGs in the BitShares and Hive community, Steem community, would remember Golos. And then the last one that I know about is called Blurt. And more or less here's kind of what I think is that out of those 5, that gives us Hive5, which is just kind of why we came up with that keyword. But what did they more or less do? All they did was remove the downvote button. And in my opinion, and we're looking for people's ideas here. So if you can call into the show or whatever and let us know your thoughts on this, because we're going to have more than one podcast on this, right? Bonehead. Yeah. Because there's so much to talk about here. I don't think there's any way, man, that we can do this whole thing in one podcast. But so anyways, we have Hive5, and I don't think that just removing the downvote button was the way to handle this, because we still need the downvote button for a bunch of different reasons, which we can get into.
If I recall, Whale Shares and Golos actually, didn't they fork off of Steemit before the hard fork?
Oh, was it?
That was my understanding.
Okay, could be.
But I could be wrong. That's what I thought. Whale Shares was a community that got started while Steemit was still active.
Yeah.
And I believe Golos did too. But when they forked exactly, it doesn't really matter. They're still clones. They're still clones of Steemit.
Yeah, all very, very similar. Yeah, totally.
They're all based on the Steemit code and came out of that. One thing I've noticed though, there are a lot of people out there who don't like Steemit or Hive, and for the same reasons.
Yeah, I agree, 100%. And it all stems down to pretty much the same stuff, which is what we'll summarize in this call, because this is the stuff that just has to be addressed, and people are afraid to even upvote the post, for example. Oh, by the way, if anybody wants to follow along on what document we're looking at here, I just made a shortcut to it. If you go to Hive and then the number 5.info, hive5.info, and that'll take you right to this Hive post that we've put together. So, I didn't put an SSL key on it either. So it's http://hive5.info.
There you go.
Man,
it works.
Man, you got to oil that thing. What the hell? Oh, that was your microphone boom, wasn't it?
I thought it was your pet whale.
Jesus. Dude. Oh, God. All right, so let me give everybody kind of just a quick synopsis of what this is about. All right, so go to hive5.info and you guys can follow along. Improving Hive through natural law. Okay, I like to relate everything to nature. How does nature work? How does nature fix itself? How would the good old yin and the yang balance of life itself improve itself and evolve into something that, some people don't like it when I use the word evolve, but whatever, to make improvements to something that is broke.
Some
The
people
Hive
are going to
block.
make you use natural law.
Yeah, well, all right, so let me just read this real quick. The Hive blockchain has proven that free transactions in a self-sufficient blockchain are possible. Sadly, it's not fixed the problem of increasingly powerful groups or individuals ruling over others. The laws of nature are quite simple. With abundance, greed is unnecessary. Nature seeks equilibrium. Power is limited. Bullies are not tolerated, and on its own, balance is maintained. So hence, I like to relate everything to yin yang. So it's like when you build a profitable company, you're going to get attacked. There's always going to be the dark side to the good things that you're doing, and vice versa.
Yeah.
Ideally,
my initial reaction to this is, man, this is a powerful opening statement. This is what we call a thesis. This is your thesis. So you want to fix something that isn't working with
yeah,
the current system, and you note right off the bat that there is a positive to this. It works. We've proven that it works. However, it's not perfect.
yep, exactly. Continuing. Ideally, think of the Hive blockchain itself as a world of various online and offline networks, free of an oligarchy, with free and open hotspots, quote unquote, to build in and form lifelong friendships, which is what we do in the Hive communities, right?
Yeah.
Hive communities and apps, therefore, are its self-governing cities, neighborhoods, and businesses that are built onto that free and open network with their own rules. Hive communities and apps might have rules that you agree or contract with to obey. If you break your contract with them, then they have every right to kick you out or punish you in some way as per the contract terms that you agreed to with them. Whenever you join a community, they have the terms right there on the right-hand side, or at least on PP, right? And if you don't like it, then don't post in there. Or if you do it anyways, like you want to post porn in a kids community or whatever, just think of the worst case. Somebody's going to ban you, hopefully, and downvote you. Basically telling you nicely, hey, get out of here, man. We don't want that stuff in here. You know what I mean? Go find some other community or build your own. And that's the beauty of the Hive blockchain. If you don't like it, go build your own. It's an open, free network to do whatever you want within the law of the code that is written, which runs the blockchain, not a human being, or a few human beings, which is what we're going to get into here. So none of us contracted. You guys know I used to teach maritime law with cops and stuff like that. So I can tell you the maritime law side of this, I kind of leaned on that a little bit because people understand that for the most part. So none of us contracted with powerful groups, curators, or individuals to use the Hive blockchain. However, through fear, they are able to control and influence most users that are on the Hive blockchain. So there you go. That's one of the biggest reasons right there why we're putting this thing together, because these are things that need to be talked about and people are afraid to talk about them for fear that they'll get downvoted, even for upvoting the post. Like you'll have a new downvote trail coming at you just because you agree with one of the 12 points that are in this document. So that's got to stop. You should be able to post whatever you want and say whatever you want, even if you have really bizarre opinions about things. Just because I don't wear a white butcher's coat or a white lab coat doesn't mean that I don't have good researched opinions on things too. So some of it can be proven, some of it can't, but the point is you should be able to say whatever the hell you feel like saying on the Hive blockchain, as long as it's done properly in the right place. Photos or text, whatever,
Yeah, well, the downvote button is there because people do have strong reactions to things, and if someone says, "Yeah, I don't agree with this," or "I think this is not very well expressed," then I can downvote that. I should,
Yeah.
and some people see it. Some people see it as a way to uh, correct for a post that has been overcompensated. So it's a
Right.
weak post, but it's got lots of rewards, so let's downvote it.
Hey, that's not
I'm
fair.
not
Why
sure.
does he get $3 and I only got one?
Yeah, I think that's kind of childish.
It is
It's a
absolutely. I
bit
just
childish
every
to see
time
it
I
that
see
way.
these
But
guys downvoting each other and or up, yeah, just like a little war. It's just, it is so kindergarten. Come on.
yeah, I think that kind of thing. I think that kind of thing comes from. It comes. I think it comes from the false notion that somehow the Hive blockchain is supposed to be a meritocracy. You're supposed to earn the right to earn, and there's really no objective way to measure somebody's true value to the blockchain. It's all subjective. It's all subjective.
Yeah, yeah.
Uh,
This is
yeah.
why I really feel that we need to keep the downvote button, and there does need to be monetization involved with upvoting and downvoting. But we'll get to the Hive power thing in a minute, because Hive power delegation, in my opinion, and like I said, these are just ideas, people, so relax. Hive power delegation, in my opinion, must be individual, time limited, and constrained. Because otherwise, without fail, oligarchies with combined endless power are formed.
Explain what you mean by that. Individual, time limited, and constrained. What do those
Absolutely.
three phrases mean?
Absolutely. This let's actually get to that just a little bit later, because this stuff that I'm about to read really leads up to that, so it's easier for people to understand.
Okay, go ahead.
Okay, so naturally code is law, right? So however we code this thing is exactly how it's going to take place. No more of this bickering and downvote wars and, well, this guy's a whale and he can downvote you to a -10 reputation with just 2 clicks. And I mean, that kind of shit has to stop. This is why people are leaving Hive. Hive is not growing.
Yeah. I don't know why my Pomeranian decided to weigh in there, but
Okay. It's like, yeah, damn it. Yeah, get those motherfuckers. All right. So, through our ideas that we're going to go over with here, and people, I encourage you to comment on this live stream. All right. Leave comments about this because we need input. And don't be afraid to just say, yes, I agree with number 4, but I think we should change number 8 a bit because blah, 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 and this and that. Okay, this is the whole point. Like,
I've
I can't
actually
think of
done that.
everything. You guys can't think of everything. We need
Yeah.
more ideas to form the perfect blockchain that is actually Web3, cannot be stopped, cannot be censored. Monetization is proper. These are the things that we got to go over with here. So I've got 12 things that I put some of them on here. My wife put some of them on here. My oldest daughter put some of them on here. So these are not like all my ideas. These are ideas from friends and family and colleagues and some of the team here at Agorize and stuff like that too. So, all right, I'm going to whip through these 12 issues that we have compiled so far that Hive, and actually, Alan, you have a 13th one regarding the witnesses, I believe, which we can add into the next version 1.3 of Hive5. Okay, so here we go. Ready?
Yeah.
All right, possible fixes for these known issues on Hive. Number 1, the downvote feature. Okay, that's the doozy right there. It's number 1. Number 2, how your income is affected from downvotes or upvotes. Number 3, your reputation score can be nuked by one user with a lot of Hive power. Number 4, voting on users just because they have a lot of Hive power, a high reputation score or wallet balance, which can also be called groveling and kowtowing to authority and stuff like this too. So number 5, your kids are seeing NSFW content. Number 6, actual vote counts, like the number of votes on something, either upvotes or downvotes, are not from unique individuals. Number 7, bots, B-O-T-S, bots, that always vote on a user regardless of the content that got posted. Number 8, earnings and losses from curator votes, which again kind of falls along the lines of now you have more groveling, harassment, censorship, lobbying, and corruption. Oh, please, Mr. Curator, just vote on my post. I'll give you 10%, and my wife will come over to your house and whatever. Okay, this is what we're getting into. All right, curators, we'll deal with curator. Now, it's really cool. Like when you get you finally put up a post and a curator votes on it. Wow, I got 100 people voted on my oh, it was only one guy. So like 100 people haven't even seen my, yeah, you know what I'm saying. Okay, let's move on.
Yeah.
Number 9. Yeah, 1-for-1 voting, exactly. Number 9, the DHF proposals, or the Decentralized Hive Fund proposals, which we are obviously going to talk about this one quite a bit, and I know you guys have in previous podcasts too, because this is a really big issue. So you end up sometimes with some waste and fraud and even corruption. So, and yes, that's provable, it's sourced, and we'll talk about that too. Number 10, Hive-backed dollar use, HBD. HBD is Hive-backed dollars. Its use, the peg stability, quote unquote, to the dollar, and its future viability. As we all know now, CBDCs are being implemented worldwide. That is no longer a conspiracy theory, it is a fact. So that's going to drastically affect the Hive-backed dollar and how it operates. Number 11, Hive Power and Resource Credit, or RC, delegations. So how the delegations are handled, all right? And that's, Alan, what you were just asking about a minute ago in my initial definition up above.
Gotcha.
And then number 12, we have got to stop relying on these centralized exchanges like Binance and Coinbase and all these kind of guys. So we need cross-chain swaps. So through IBC, ILP, and HTLC cross-chain swaps. Okay, we've got to eliminate our reliance on middlemen, and we've got to get Hive supported on at least a couple of DEXs, decentralized exchanges.
Yeah, you know, it really broke my heart when block trades shut down its exchange, because that's how I bought my Hive. You know, when I wanted to beef up my account, I did it through block trades. I'd go to Binance and all these other places, because block trades is part of the chain, you know, or at least run by a witness. And so I'm a big fan of DEXs. You know, let's do that.
The only true DEX that I've personally, well, I guess I'll say it, I've used a few, but the best one that I've ever seen is the one that runs on BitShares. They have an actual DEX, which now I guess they're trying to get rid of it or something like that. I don't know, making some more dumb decisions, but whatever. The point is, we need decentralized ways of trading my coin for your coin, and that's the point here. So that Absolutely. We have to add that support, especially now, sooner than later. Now, especially with all these centralized exchanges shutting down and blocking cryptos that are not CBDCs or approved by the government. And oh man, then the KYC stuff. You know how I feel about KYC. So, okay, and I mean any KYC too. Don't ask me for my email address. or my phone number or send me an SMS code or whatever. No, you get nothing. All right. Okay, so the downvote feature. Let's just roll right into this, shall we? So there's pros and cons to the downvote feature. Let's go to the pros first. Why should we keep the downvote? We've got 5 reasons on here so far. I'm sure other people can think of other reasons to keep it, but here I'll just whip through these real quick and you guys can comment. Number 1, it helps to hide NSFW content like murder, pedophiles, porn, and stuff like that. Number 2, it helps to de-incentivize doxing, rewards pool double dips, aggressions and threats, like I'm going to come and kick your ass, I'm going to kill your brother, blah, whatever. Plagiarism, and that includes AI, because now people are actually using AI to plagiarize.
Yeah.
Copyright and IP infringement, ID theft and deception, identity deception, and cybersecurity threats. We should also keep the downvote feature for reasons of that it provides a yin and yang balance of opinion, regardless of the post age. So if this post here gets downvoted to basically 0, well, 2 years later, people realize, wow, what he said there was actually legit. And then it can be upvoted again back into visibility, because right now you can downvote somebody's posts to where they won't even appear anymore. You have to click on that reveal post thing. You guys seen that? It gets muted or auto muted. Yeah, so you could actually make a 2-year-old post visible again with this as well. So that's why I say we got to have that yin yang balance of opinion, regardless of the post age. Then also keeping the downvote feature, but with Hive power removed from voting, and we'll get into that extensively down in number 2B below. But more users will be willing to downvote the content mentioned above without fear of becoming a target for the downvote whales. So that's the biggest thing, because, well, yeah, this is horrible, but if I downvote it, then I'm going to be a target from these guys, and they're going to start downvoting all of my posts. Right? I mean, come on, everybody can admit that. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I'm probably different than maybe most people. I've never really cared about the downvote button. I just figure if somebody didn't like what I posted, then screw them. I didn't write it for them. Confident enough in my writing ability that I think most things that I write are going to get a pretty good response from people, and history has proven that to be true. So I don't care about the downvote button, but I can see where a strong enough whale could really damage a new person with hardly any reputation.
Yeah.
That they come onto the blockchain, maybe they say something that isn't popular, and boom, a couple of whales sends them off into oblivion, and then they leave and they never come back.
I'm sure most of us have seen that happen to somebody at some point.
If that happens enough times, it is a net negative for the blockchain.
Absolutely, and I think that's exactly what we're seeing now. It's just not growing anymore, because now the word has gotten out about the downvoting oligarchy and these guys warring over, well, you can't upvote that guy to $12 because, I mean, come on, guy, it took that guy 3 days to write that post. He made a whopping $12. Get over it. This is just so juvenile.
Yeah.
Friggin' A, man. Yeah, this is, yeah, absolutely.
Well, and there are a lot of people out there, and I have debates with people on other platforms about Hive, and there is just a negative sentiment out there.
Yeah.
And the biggest criticism that I see is that Hive benefits the whales and nobody else. That's the biggest benefit. That's the biggest criticism I see. That It's a Ponzi scheme, and it benefits the whales and nobody else. And I can see where that perception comes from. I don't agree with it, but I do see where that perception comes from.
Yeah, especially if you have anything remotely provocative to say. You know, if you have a really abstract opinion of some sort. I mean, just in the last month or 2 months, I guess, I've seen two relatively major guys get downvoted just to oblivion, like Flat Earth Dave and Mercado Maestro. Those two guys. Obviously, they have opinions that are not mainstream, so people tend to vote for their leader and go with the mainstream because that groupthink just is going to benefit them in some way. Well, if I vote for this guy, then maybe he'll vote for me, and then I'll become a whale too. And why are you striving to become a whale? Why do you want to? Why are you striving for power? And I think that this is a psychological thing too that really needs to be addressed, because you're voting for the powerful guy, the rich and powerful. And how well has that worked out for us all through history? It hasn't.
Not well, yeah.
This always ends in despotism, and it's what's happening right now throughout the world. You know, this has to stop.
And the whole idea behind decentralization flies in the face of that whole thinking. If you want to decentralize anything, then the goal should be to equalize the power structure among the participants, at least to some fair degree, rather than centralize into the hands of a few.
Yeah, so you have a proper ecosystem. It can
Yeah.
grow. Yeah. Okay, so the last pro that I have on this list, and guys, please feel free to add more to this list, was just eliminating the need to pay Hive watchers anymore. Because and we'll get to this about bots and stuff a little bit later down in the post, and how to recognize spam and this kind of stuff. But we're paying a human being to say who gets the downvotes and who doesn't. And again, this just leads to what we were just talking about. So it will end in corruption almost always. In this case, it seems to, because I don't know too many people who, I mean, guilty party sorry, man. I mean, really, you've it just seems like it's just not getting the support and he's helped me actually quite a bit through things. I mean, he's adding the Spaminator thing to some posts and whatever, because it'll keep the whales at bay, he says. And what, like, you know what, I don't know, maybe it will, maybe it won't, but the point is, this is just bullshit that I have to tiptoe around every fucking thing that I post. I have very abstract opinions about things.
Have you been targeted by Hive watchers?
Oh, absolutely. So I've done everything that they asked and then some. And I got to hand it to Marky, because Marky, yeah, he downvotes a lot of stuff, but he also, through doing so, exposed bugs that I had in my, well, I don't want to say bugs, but you could call them psychological bugs, but that also could result in double dips to the reward pool and stuff like that. And that's in the Hive2 software. So I modified those things so that it can't do that anymore, like double posting and stuff like that, because there were some bugs. This is a couple years ago now, but it made it so that sometimes he would import the same video twice, and then it would get posted to the same video would get posted to the chain twice. I'm like, damn it, why in the hell is it doing this? Because the guy who created the video, like that guy Ralph Smart or whatever he was doing it constantly. He would change the title of his video by just like uppercasing or like misspelling a word or something, so that the import script would see it as another video that he made, and then import that one too. And he would do that with the same video. He would post like 5 times with slightly different titles. So it's just stuff like that people will do, that we have to code around that. So that if you get some people like that who are just, you know, blasting the chain with the same content over and over again, you're filling up the witnesses' hard drives and the API hard drives and stuff like that, for one thing, but you're making it incredibly hard to find what I'm looking for too. And it's just wrong. Like, dude, don't fill up our chain with one video posted 5 freaking times. That's wrong, man. So I mean, a downvote is absolutely justifiable in my opinion.
it's particularly difficult, I would imagine. I'm not a coder, but if you're running a centralized server, if you have a business, you have centralized server, um, you know that there's going to be a certain amount of traffic to your server that is bot activity, hackers, spam. It's going to be the negative trash of the internet. You're going to have that. Well, the
Yep.
blockchain is going to have that as well. So how do you deal with it in a decentralized environment
Yep.
versus a centralized environment? With a centralized environment, you got a person or a group of people that are creating tools to combat that stuff. But how do you do it in a decentralized environment?
That's exactly what we're gonna cover here, because it's absolutely possible. We just have to get it implemented, and of course, you know, the quote unquote whales on Hive are not going to be happy about this, because it's going to start to level the playing field over time. So
Oh,
yeah,
absolutely.
but that's what has to happen, because you can't just, okay, let me just use Dave as an example. For example, flatearthdave.tv. He comes, see, this is a famous guy. He's got, you know, 1 million followers out there on YouTube and all these places, whatever. You might not be a flat earther or whatever. It doesn't matter. Point is, a lot of people don't agree with him, and that's fine. But what happens is, his first fucking day on Hive, welcome to Hive. Bring your 1,000,000 followers to Hive with you. Tell people about your flatearthdave.tv site so people can start watching your videos and whatever. Bring those 1,000,000 people to Hive. That's how you do it, first of all. But what happens to him on his first fucking day? He gets a downvote, a double downvote from a whale, destroys his reputation to like a -5, and completely reversed all of the earnings that he got on his first video, which was amazing. Like, whoa, people are watching this crap? So people are like watching the stuff, right? And he gets downvoted to freaking 0 and has his reputation destroyed to a point where it can't even be repaired. Do you think he wants to tell his 1,000,000 followers to come to Hive now?
No, probably not.
Absolutely not. Yeah. Seriously, man. I mean, and this is what happens. So now he can tell his 1,000,000 followers, oh yeah, I tried Hive, but it's crap. So he just told 1,000,000 people that Hive is crap because of one guy on Hive with so much power. You know what I mean? This has to stop, guys. Let the guy have his freaking opinion. Okay? You don't like his opinion? Fine, then downvote him. But your downvote should not be able to completely destroy somebody who comes to your community with something of value, or start up his own community. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah.
So if somebody comes to my community, you're going to have to pull your weight. If you don't, then you're kicked out, or we're going to have to do something else to make it so that you feel like you're not welcome and you leave on your own cognizance, you know?
Yeah, right. Yeah. Yeah, no, I totally agree. Somebody should not feel like they've got to leave the blockchain because their opinion isn't popular and they're not going to benefit from having that opinion in the first place. If there's no benefit to being here, you might as well not be here. So when you have somebody that influential that, you know, could show up and bring their followers with them, then you want to try to accommodate that as much as you can. So I'm with you on that. I don't know Flat Earth Dave, but
I mean, you'll disgruntle people so bad by just destroying them like that. That it's just brutal, man. And like now, it's going to take a long time with a whole lot of upvotes just to get his reputation score back up to a 0. You know what? That's just like, oh god, I don't know if I really want to. And then it's just like, you know, it sucks. Like Mercado Maestro, same thing. His introductory post. He's a finance guy, well-versed, well-educated, right, in finances. He gets up there, he puts up his introductory post and talks about what he likes to talk about in finance. Same thing, gets destroyed. This is just his introductory post. So we don't want to get rid of the downvote feature at all. So let that be very clear here. But it needs to change. This whole thing with Hive power it has to change. We've been through this for years now. We've proven that it doesn't work, and this chain is dying. I don't care about COVID or the economy or anything like that. people are seeking something like Hive right now. It should be exploding. Look,
Yeah, absolutely agree with that. People are looking for alternatives to Twitter and Instagram and all these places that are demonetizing them and deplatforming them
yeah,
and making it difficult for them to, uh, to just monetize their content. We have an expansive, it's already a massive global content economy, and it's expanding. And people are looking for
yeah.
something like Hive that will give them more control over their content assets and their ability to monetize and resist censorship. That's
You
a
just
big
say,
deal to a lot of people.
yes, exactly. Being able to say whatever you want in whatever language that is yours, it's just wow, man. So
Yeah,
by making it so that users are willing to downvote again, without worrying about Hive power, if 10 people upvote a post and say 16 people downvote it, okay, then obviously, and with one for one voting, then okay, then mute that post or something like that from that front end, because that's definitely an NSFW or something that a whole lot of people, that 51% of the voters on that post so far hate. But it can turn around over time. For example, the chemtrails topic was a hot one just a few years back, right? And it's big in the information war and deep dives and stuff like that. Well, chemtrails is not a conspiracy theory anymore at all. Geoengineering is very real, and you can see it on the UN website, and it's right there. Just look for yourself that they're able to modify the weather. Okay, this is what they do. And chemtrails is a big part of that. So barium, strontium, aluminum. I mean, just look it up. It tells you exactly what's in it and how they do it and how they steer a cloud and a storm. And so, but what happens is now that post, which was downvoted to oblivion, can be brought back to life again a couple of years later through upvotes now, right? So this is the goal here, is to make it so that so once people realize, wow, that post was legit, the guy actually did really good research and chemtrails are real, okay, I'm going to reverse my vote, change this to an upvote now, and real legit information like free energy, ethereal energy and stuff like that can actually come to humanity now, because it was downvoted to oblivion before because it was a conspiracy theory or whatever, and now it can be used by humanity and be visible again. So, okay, we're getting to that.
yeah.
All right, here we go.
Hey, how much time have we been on?
An hour, right?
Yeah,
Okay,
I think we're probably going to cut it short and pick this up next week. What do you think?
we can do that. There's 12 points on here, and number 2 is a big one. So yeah, that number 2 is going to take at least an hour, because that gets
Yeah, so
into
we can.
how your income is affected or will be affected
That'd be a great
with
topic
downvotes
for
and
next
upvotes.
week.
Yeah, I think so too. That's a good idea, guys. Let me just cover one more thing for the downvote feature before we go. So we went through the pros, the reasons to keep the downvote feature, and of course you have to have balance. So we have a couple of cons, pros and cons, that are against keeping the downvote feature. And it was said that it currently reduces your income. But my argument to that is, well, that could also be a good thing. That's also a pro in some cases, right?
Yeah.
Why do we want to monetize this guy because he's raping his wife on camera or something like that? No, I think why do I want to monetize that? That should be not monetized. Okay? It also reduces a user's reputation if they get downvoted, but that could also be a good thing.
These are cons for keeping the downvote button.
Yeah, cons of the downvote feature.
Yeah. Well, there's
Pros.
another one. I would say, we talked about this a little bit, but downvote wars, and I have seen some nasty ones, even far
Yeah.
back as on Steemit. And not just with individuals, but with groups. Whole
Yeah.
groups getting together and saying, "Yeah, we don't
Big
like
one.
this person," and then they go and gather up their gang and go
Yeah.
downvote. Yeah, yeah, it's
Yeah.
like a gang war on the blockchain. It's
Yeah.
ridiculous.
Yeah. I know Miss D. Remember Miss D? She had posted a bunch of links too to some guy that was just blasting the Hive blockchain too. Like, look at this freaking guy, because apparently he got downvoted to oblivion as well, and he had legit stuff that he was saying and whatever. And I think he went over to Blurt also. Blurt's in my opinion, is a dead chain, and their logo sucks. And anyway, bunch of reasons why I hate Blurt. I think it's just the stupidest thing ever. But whatever. So we're not going to just try to fix one thing here. We've got to discuss, well, like we have here, 12 or 13 different things. So this is going to take. If we do one or two of these shows a week, guys, yeah, this could be a series of shows about Hive5, and could get the conversation going, because just little onesie twosie posts here and there just get buried. And I think if we put all 12 or 13 into these podcasts, and you get people commenting and lose their fear of commenting, that's the big thing. People are afraid to comment on this stuff for fear of downvotes. Now, you guys see the problem here? That is the problem that we're facing here, and it has to stop.
Yeah, that's terrible. And I can think of a few reasons why someone might not be interested in changing the blockchain.
Yeah.
Some of them are valid and some are not. We can talk about that at some point, but I've got a list of reasons why they're just, reasons why someone might look at your proposal, for instance, and just say, yeah, no, I can't support that. And then we can talk about some of those reasons at some point in our series. But then I think it's helpful to talk about it, and just because nothing's perfect.
Yeah.
Nothing's perfect. I'm of the mind that it doesn't matter how good or great something is, you can find something that needs to be fixed. That's why Google is always tweaking its algorithm. They tweak it 200 times a day.
Yeah.
They've been doing this for years. You'd think after 20 years, they'd say, man, yeah, we've arrived. We can't improve it anymore. But no, they keep on changing it because it's never perfect.
Yeah. Indeed. All right, guys. Yeah. Well, I'll wrap it up there. So we've covered the downvote feature and kind of a synopsis, thesis of what Hive5 is about. I'll throw the link out there one more time. It's Hive5.info. So check it out and leave your comments on there, please. We need all the help we can get to try to make Hive the best place it can be, and to alleviate some of the fear that resides on the Hive blockchain.